So today we're going to go over finding the area of a triangle and law of sines within a triangle. So we can use sine to find area. So here we want to express the area of a triangle in terms of sine of angle A. So area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Shh, quiet now. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Now, if you're not given the height of the triangle, we can express that height as sine of an angle times something. So if I go from angle A right here, okay, the height is the opposite side and C is the hypotenuse. Okay, so if I have sine of angle A equal to our opposite side is H over hypotenuse is C. I can express that height H in terms of sine by just multiplying both sides by C. So I would have C times the sine of angle A equals H. So expressing our area for a triangle in terms of sine, I would just replace that H value with C times the sine of angle A. So we're going to use this area formula of 1/2 our base times our height, which we found to be C times sine of angle A. Because for some of our problems, we're not going to be given the height, so you can use that angle A times the hypotenuse of that triangle. So you will need to know that formula, so make sure you box it, circle it, highlight it, whatever you need to do. You can use this formula or variations of it to find the area of a triangle if you know the lengths of two sides and the measure of the included angle. Okay, so in example 1, we want to find the area of triangle ABC to the nearest tenth if angle A is 31 degrees, B is 18, and C is 22. So if I draw out this triangle, ABC, angle A is 31 degrees. Lowercase b is always opposite uppercase b. Okay, so it's that side opposite that angle we labeled as b. So that would be 18. Same thing with lowercase c here. It would be opposite to that angle c. So this one is 22. Now again, this one we're not given the height of the triangle, so we can't find the area of the triangle by just doing 1/2 base times height. So what we can do is use this formula here. So I have an angle included between my two sides. This side here, if I were to drop down the height of that triangle, this side would be your hypotenuse of that right triangle, so that would be our C value. A is still A, and then our lowercase b value is our base, that's 18. So all I have to do is plug in each of these values, so I'd have 1/2. Our base side is 18 times that C value, or hypotenuse in that right triangle, is 22. And that's multiplied by the sine of the angle that I'm given, which is 31. Okay, and you can just enter this into your calculator then. So 1/2 times 18 times 22 times sine of 31. Make sure you can enter that into your calculator. Yeah. What? 0.97? Yeah. So since it's asking us to round to the nearest tenth, I just wrote it as 102.0. If you wrote 101.97, that's fine. And this would be in meters squared because we're finding the area of that triangle. Okay, questions on how to find the area using that formula? Okay, so again, make sure you highlight, box, or circle that formula up here so you can use it on your assignment, wherever it asks you to find the area. So, moving on then. Any questions on number 1? No. Alright, so you can use the area formulas to derive the law of sines, which shows the relationships between side lengths of a triangle and the sines of the angles opposite them. So our different area formulas are like this one. Okay, so this is our first one. That is 1/2 B times C times the sine of A. Now we can write this same formula for each and every angle within that triangle. So we could also have 1/2 A times C times the sine of angle B, which would give us the same area. We would just be going from a different angle to start off with. Or 1/2 A times B times the sine of angle C. So notice how I have a different angle for each, but each of them is the same basic formula. So to derive the law of sines from this, what I would do is multiply each of these by 2. Okay, what that does is cancel out each of my denominators there for those 1/2. So I'm left with BC sine of A equals AC sine of B, which equals AB sine of C. Okay, from here I'm going to divide all 3 of these by ABC. Okay, so divide by ABC. Okay, because I'm solving each of these for sine of just that angle. So now what happens here, these B's cancel out and C's cancel out. In this one, your A's and your C. This one, your A's and your B. So what I'm left with is sine of A over A equals sine of B over B equals sine of C over C. Okay, now again, your uppercase letters are your angles. The lowercase letters are the sides opposite those angles. So this is the law of sines. Okay, this is the law of sines. So if I take sine of angle A, it has to go over its opposite side. Sine of angle B over its opposite side, and sine of angle C over its opposite side. So we can use the law of sines to solve a triangle if you know either one of the following. So the first one here, you need to know the measure of 2 angles and any side. So if you know 2 angles and one of the sides, we can use the law of sines, and that is the angle side case or the angle side angle case.
Gosh.
You'll be fine once we start. So, or you could have the measures of 2 sides and the angle opposite one of those sides, and that is the side angle case. And we're going to do that case tomorrow. We're going to stick with this first case today. So today we're going to be given 2 angles and a side within our triangle. So that would be like this triangle right here. You're given angle B and angle C. Okay, and you'd be given one of the sides in that triangle as well. Okay, and again, your opposite side is the lowercase letter to that angle. So this side over here would be lowercase b. This angle was a. This would be lowercase a. Okay, so those lowercase letters are the opposite sides. So we're going to do some examples using law of sines. Okay, so our first one on the back here, we want to solve triangle NPQ if angle P is 42 degrees, Q is 65 degrees, and N is equal to 5. So I want to draw out this triangle first.
NPQ?
Yep, draw out the triangle NPQ. Okay, make sure you label your angles. Now I'm given that angle P is 42 degrees, so I'm going to label that angle as 42 degrees. Angle Q is 65 degrees. And lowercase n here is 5. Which side is lowercase n? Yes. So lowercase n has to be opposite that angle n. So this side would have to be 5. Okay, so when it says solve a triangle, that means you have to find all of the missing pieces. So I need to find out what angle n is, what side Q is here, and what side P is here.
Doesn't it equal 180 something?
Yeah. So first thing I'm going to do is find the remaining angle because that's the easier one to do. So all of your angles within a triangle have to be 180 degrees. So I'm going to take 180, subtract the two angles that I know
73.
to get the measure of angle N to equal 73 degrees. Okay, so I found one piece of that triangle. And N is 73 degrees. Now I still need to find those remaining two sides. Now we can't use SOHCAHTOA like we did at the beginning of this chapter because it's not a right triangle. Okay, you can only use SOHCAHTOA, so sine, cosine, and tangent if it is a right triangle. However, we can use the law of sines for this. So with the law of sines, again we wrote this on the front, I need sine of an angle over its opposite side equal to sine of another angle over its opposite side. So since I have angle N and its opposite side, that has to be one of my fractions here.
Where did you get M and L from?
Where are you looking?
That's
Oh, it's the measure of angle N. So it's talking about the angle.
Yeah.
It's just N. So angle N.
Put L's out here because she knows that we're taking this class.
We talked about this in geometry. We did law of sines in geometry when you were in geometry.
I took it down last.
So continuing here, I'm going to use sine of the angle I'm given. So sine of 73, that has to go over its opposite side, which is 5. Okay, now that's equal to sine of another angle. So which side do you want to find first? P or Q? P? Okay, so we'll solve for side P first. That means I need to use angle P in my law of sines here. So I would say this is sine of 42, since I'm going from that angle. And it has to go over its opposite side, which is P. So that's the variable that I want to solve for. So to solve something like this, what I'm going to do is cross multiply. Okay, so I have 5 times the sine of 42 and P times the sine of 73. Okay, so when you have an equal sign between two fractions, you can cross multiply. So I have P times the sine of 73 is equal to 5 times the sine of 42. Now from here, I need P by itself. So how do I get P by itself?
Divide by sine 73.
Okay, so in your calculator, you would enter 5 times the sine of 42 divided by the sine of 73. And make sure you can enter that into your calculator and get the correct length.
3.49. 3.5.
Yes. When you enter it into your calculator correctly, you should get P to be 3.5. Okay, so I still need to find side Q. Okay, so finding side Q, I'm still going to use angle N and its opposite side in law of sines here. Okay, so I have sine of 73 over its opposite side is 5. Okay, what will that have to equal then?
Sine over 65. And then Q.
Okay, so it has to equal sine of 65 over Q. Since I'm solving for that side Q, I need its opposite angle with that sine. So again, from here, you want to cross multiply. So I would have Q times the sine of 73 is equal to 5 times the sine of 65. Getting Q by itself, we would divide both sides by sine of 73. And you'd enter 5 times the sine of 65 over sine of 73 into your calculator to solve for Q.
4.7.
You should get 4.7.
Dividing sine of 65. Not. No, sine of 73. You should be dividing sine of 73.
Okay, questions on example 2?
Oh. Right. Wait, you framed me a second.
Stop.
Well, I'm keeping it there, relax. All right, any questions? Anybody need help entering it into their calculator to get that correct answer? All right, then last example here, example 3. We want to solve triangle ABC. So again, I want to draw out this triangle. Okay, so I have triangle ABC. We have angle B is 53 degrees. Angle C is 100 degrees. And lowercase b is 9. So where's lowercase b on my triangle?
Across from it.
Across from what?
B.
B.
Right there.
Okay, so I need to find angle A, I need to find lowercase a, and I need to find lowercase c. So angle A, lowercase a is opposite that.
27.
Lowercase c is opposite angle C.
27.
Okay, how do I find angle A?
Add those up and then subtract it from 180.
You guess it's 27 degrees.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the measure of angle A will be 27 degrees. It's my first step. Next step, I want to use law of sines to solve for my remaining two sides. So which side should we solve for
Oh, A.
first?
Do
We'll solve for side A first. Now, which one do I have to use
B.
in law of sines? I have to use B because I have that angle and I have its opposite side. Okay, so I'm going to take sine of angle B, which is 53, over the side opposite that angle is 9. Okay, that's equal to, since we're going to solve for side A here first, I need sine of angle A over its opposite side, which is A. And again, from here, you want to cross multiply and solve. So I have A times the sine of 53 is equal to 9 times the sine of 27. Divide both sides by sine of 53. So we have A is equal to 9 times sine of 27 over sine of 53. And again, make sure you can enter that into your calculator. What do we get A to be?
5.1.
Okay, so A should be 5.1. Okay, I want you guys to solve for side C, if you haven't already. Use law of sines, solve for side C.
Howdy.
Harry.
Hey. Over now by Post Malone. Did you get some? No.
Come, motherfucker. Yeah, wait a minute.
we get? I don't know, what is it? What did you get?
You're wrong.
11, 7.1, yeah.
Alright, so this is how you should set up solving for side C. Again, you want to use angle B and its opposite side because we didn't round for B. It was already given to us. In A, we rounded that. Okay, so you'd get a larger rounded number for side C if you used angle A. So you want to use angle B again, and it has to be equal to sine of angle C over lowercase c, since that's the side I'm looking for. Cross multiply, then divide. You should get C is equal to 11.1. Okay, is that what you got? Or did you set it up correctly at least? If you didn't enter it in your calculator.